Welcome to the Pathways to Wholeness podcast. I'm Michael Warmoth, and I thank you for joining us for this next episode of meditative teaching. Okay, let's just settle in, relax, maybe take a few breaths, and just listen to the music before the teaching starts. Are you willing to accept that there is a universal truth and that universal truth is true about you in this moment? Ask yourself, are you willing to accept that there is a universal truth that is true about you right now? This is the question that can be put before us all through the day to remind us to pay attention to what we are believing and accepting as true. When we hear the truth and it resonates within us, and we accept it as true, it gives us an experience that we can draw on to remind ourselves that there is that universal truth, and that universal truth is real right now. But what is that truth? What is the nature of that universal truth? It speaks of the one infinite consciousness, one power, one creative source of all, one consciousness, all consciousness, the one consciousness that is all there is. Somewhere within us, we know that is true. Our process of waking up and becoming conscious is the remembering of that knowing, the conscious experience of knowing that truth. And so, what we can do on our journey is actively question what we are doing with our mind, what we are believing, what we are accepting as true. If we are at peace, if we know the truth, if we are experiencing it, we will have no need for that. But we are on this journey because that is not our experience most of the time. Most of the time, most of us are believing things that are not true. Particularly, we are believing in duality. We are accepting the idea that things can be bad and wrong, or good and right. They are abstract intellectual concepts and have nothing to do with reality, with the truth. When we are experiencing and knowing the truth, we know the perfection of all, of ourselves, of the world. We know there is no separation, no division, no duality. Can you remember anything like that to be true? Is there within you any remembering of the experience of knowing that oneness? It is within you because it is the basis of who you are. It is the truth of who you are. It is the reality. But for so many of us, that memory is so deeply buried underneath the noise and the distractions and the fear, the anxiety, that it seems that it couldn't be true. Except that when we hear it, we know it is. We cannot make ourselves believe it. We cannot make ourselves accept it. We must simply be conscious of what our response to it is. In some way, we are saying no to that experience. We must decide if that is going to be our way of being. Or do we want to become conscious of what is the truth and reality about us? There may be an instinctive reaction that says, no, we don't want to know what is the truth about us. That is the ego's response. That is the job we gave the ego, to keep reality at bay. Because reality was uncomfortable. It was painful. It was overwhelming. And our process of undoing our conditioning means becoming comfortable with what is within us. Becoming accepting and understanding and compassionate and gentle with ourselves. Suspending and releasing all judgments. It is painful to face ourselves and see what we have been doing, and to see what we have been turning away from. But we will not be harmed or hurt again. We are safe, and we are not where we were when we made the decision to turn away from ourselves. We have much more resources at our disposal. It can be temporarily disturbing to begin to undo that control, to begin to open. We will feel vulnerable, but we will also begin to experience a new energy, because we have bound our energy so tightly. We have not been free. And within us is the longing to be free of that holding, free of that control, free of the judgments and the fear. All of the disturbance and the discomfort is temporary. It passes. and energy is released, and we grow more comfortable with ourselves. But what allows us to make those steps is the knowing that there is a greater truth within us, a greater truth about us. It is the placing of our faith and trust in that truth that gives us the courage and the strength and the motivation to face ourselves, to undo all that we have done to protect ourselves, to control ourselves, and let ourselves be free. And so we return to the question, are you willing to accept that there is a universal truth about you, that there is simply a universal truth that is the basis of reality? If the answer is no, that is okay. Then you have something to explore. What in you says no to the truth? That truth within us is seeking to be expressed fully and freely. Our conflict with that truth is the source of our struggles and suffering. Our issues and conditions arise out of our conflict with that truth, natural and spontaneous drive to be fully expressed. We have ideas in our mind. What would happen if it was fully and freely expressed? What would be the consequences? Being absolutely free. We all have our own picture of that. It usually means some sort of catastrophe will occur. It will have terrible consequences if we are free. But how could that be true? If we were freely and fully expressed, we would be an embodiment of loving, creative energy. Why would that be a catastrophe? What would be the horrific consequences of that? The truth is real within you. It is not an abstract idea or concept. It is the reality of who and what you are. It is the conscious expression of the infinite consciousness, the one consciousness. That is the truth of who you are. Nothing can change that. It is an absolute and universal truth. And we can know that consciously, can experience that, and it is known within us. Let us accept that as reality. Let's say yes to that and free that embodiment of love. Thank you for listening. If you'd like more information on these meditations and teachings, visit pathwaystosurrender.com. You might be interested in our other podcast, Pathways to Surrender. These are guided meditations designed to support you in letting go of whatever tensions or false ideas you might be holding about how things really are, and reaching a state of peace and surrender. That's Pathways to Surrender. Look for the next episode soon.